Hi, I'm Reverend Sharon Ketchum here with Unity Spiritual Center's spiritual message for this week. We've been doing a fun series on the gift of the turtle, how to learn to live life right side up. To start out today's service, we have a real gift today, and it's some music created by Unity on the Bay down in Miami Beach. Their choir got together, and through a lot of technological work, were able to come together safely to sing "Oh Happy Day." I think it will just give you the lift you need for this moment.
Wash my fears away. Oh, happy day. Oh, happy day. Oh, happy day. Oh, when Jesus washed, when Spirit washed, when Jesus washed, He washed my fears away. Oh, happy day. He taught me how to walk and pray. And He taught me how to live rejoicing every day. Good God. Oh, yeah. Oh, happy day. Oh, happy day. Ooh, when Jesus washed. When Jesus washed. When Jesus washed. He washed my fears away. Oh, happy day. He taught me how to walk and pray. And He taught me how to live rejoicing every day. Yeah, good God. Oh, yeah, yeah. Happy day. Happy day. I'm talking about a happy day. Happy day. Happy day. Happy
Awesome, Unity of the Bay. What fabulous. Thank you for sharing with us. Well, here we are back in Lansing with lessons of the turtle living life in the right side up. And just to kind of give you an overview of the different lessons we've learned over the past few weeks, we have Lisa and Chris back here as Yoda and the turtle with a little reader's theater to get you up to speed, remind you of the things we learned.
I understand the gift of the accident is the lesson of choice. We each choose our way through life. We choose where we will walk. We can choose to live right side up.
The gift of the tree is the lesson of honor. We honor ourselves to coming to know ourselves, our potential, our passion, and our purpose. When we take time to learn about ourselves, we will find our special place in the universe.
And the gift of the cloud is the lesson of affirmation. Our affirmations are dreams, wonderful and lofty dreams that we express as if they have already come to pass. We repeat them until we believe them. Then we repeat them because we believe them, and we will eventually realize our aspirations.
And remember, the gift of the butterfly, the wonderful lesson of now. Now is the time to decide to truly love and live, to make time for solitude and to make time for action.
And now I would like some action. My life is literally upside down, and I have had enough of this. Yoda, would you please help me get back on my feet?
You know I would write you if I could. I'm afraid we'll just have to be patient a while longer.
What do you mean we? Is there someone else here lying on his back?
Well, as long as you stay put, you might as well enjoy another gift. Do you see that mountain over there? The gift of the mountain is the lesson of goals. Small steps pursued daily will achieve the grandest of results.
Thank you. I get little messages. It's a service I get every day, messages from the universe. Message came out that said, if you knew of a spectacular mountain that was very, very tall, yet climbable, and if it was well established from its peak, you could literally see all the love that bathes the world, dance with the angels, and party with the gods. Would you curse or celebrate each step you took to ascend it? Yeah. Well, life is that mountain, and each day that we live is that step. But learning to navigate it, well, that's where some of our lessons come in. Sometimes if we see that mountain in front of us, we can think of it as interference. But when our heart is open, we see it as inspiration, those lofty goals, something to work to. The turtle's never seen the top of the mountain before because he's always been just looking at the ground. So he saw it as an obstacle in his way. But for each of us, it's important to look at both the top and the terrain. That the mountaintop is high, that that goal that we might have may seem far away. We can make it if we just take one step at a time. It's about goals. What's important is that each of us knows where we want to go. Otherwise, we just kind of wander around in circles. And if we know where we want to go, then we need to take steps every day to get there. They don't have to be big steps, just the tiniest of steps in the direction of our intention. We advance a little bit each day. And you know, when we move in the direction of our dreams, I have found it just amazing how doors open that we didn't even know were there. The universe really conspires to support us if it really gets that vibration that this is where we put our heart, we put our intention, we put our energy. And that is a goal that is overflowing with peace and compassion and kindness and harmony, all the true essence of our world. And here's let me go to the next slide here. Here we go. Get there in a minute. I put this little sign up over the church. Work in progress. God is not done with us yet. Please be patient. You know, in many ways, that is the story of us. We may be on these journeys. We may be headed to our mountain. But we need to be patient. We need to be patient with ourselves because you and I are learning. In fact, you and I are changing. Never has it been more evident than this year when the whole world changed and there was no way to resist. We were part of the change that just had to happen. It's like a little snow globe turned topsy-turvy. But the important thing is, even though we're changing and we're learning, that we stay the course, that we persist, that we have that heart commitment, knowing that Spirit is working with us to grow us, not to allow us to languor and waste away with unfulfilled potential still in our heart. Socrates was one time asked by a lost traveler, how do I reach Mount Olympus? And Socrates said, just make sure every step you take goes in that direction. Huh? We need to focus on the terrain. We need to focus on that landscape of life where we're living to make sure we're heading in the direction of where we want to end up. Knowing that, in essence, it's not about the journey. It's about the journey, not that final destination. The destination is like that aspiration, that arrow of direction, that arrow of intention. But what's really important is each step of the way that we take, no matter how small they are. There is a dairy farmer, his name is Ted St. Martin, and he doesn't play for any basketball team. But he holds the world record for being the most accurate free shot shooter, whatever you call those things. One day he did like over 200 shots consecutively hitting a basket from different places on the court. And one day he stood at the foul line and he actually shot consecutively 927 baskets from the foul line. And the way he does it, it doesn't look at the hoop. He looks at the part on the hoop that he has to hit in order to make his goal of going into the basket. So it is with us. It's about having that focus of the next step we need to take in order to achieve that goal that is really ringing true in our heart. What will bring us closer to what we want to achieve, to the life that we want to live. Okay, so you say, oh, Sharon, I got this down. I got goals. I got visioning. Well, I want to give you a little broader picture of this, because in the goals and the visioning, the one thing sometimes we forget about are to expect some roadblocks. Nothing has been made that wasn't made out of a mess at some point in time. You renovate a house, it becomes a mess before it gets better. You make a cake, there's a mess of all the ingredients before you get the cake. Life just works from chaos into order. And you cannot have that new order without the chaos. So it's about really learning not to get discouraged when it seems like none of it makes sense as we want to forge ahead. I put up a thing on Facebook last week that said, I don't fail, I either win or I learn. And that's what it is with our journey. We don't fail. We either win, we succeed, or we learn something. This weekend, several of us from the church went to a training at the Lansing Media Center to learn more about broadcasting and learning different equipment and how to edit video so that we could be prepared for the future doing hybrid services and stuff. And I'll tell you, the amount of information that we got over 7 hours was absolutely overwhelming. It was just overwhelming is the only word for it, just like life. And the only thing for myself that I noticed going through it, though my mind could not take another new piece of information, I had such an attachment to that aspiration of being able to do the very best hybrid service when we're back in our building and being able to broadcast too, that I knew that this was one of those roadblocks. And though I didn't know the answer today, though I didn't have the skill today, I was taking a step to learn how to use it. And the other people that were with me, Jill and Greg and Jeff and Claire, we were all there, and each of us were taking those little steps so that we would be prepared to do those things that we know are ours to do. Setbacks, when we get them, are temporary. The frustration of today is one of those things I know as I sleep on it and as I try one thing at a time, one little thing at a time, that my skills will improve, that I will get better. In fact, those times when we feel like, as we're heading towards our goal, and we feel like we're sliding down the mountain instead of making any progress, that's where some of those spiritual tools are so important. To remember our affirmation, to affirm the truth that each of us have the divine wisdom within us, that God is working in us and through us, that we have untapped potential that is just knocking at the doors of our hearts, wanting to come out. Setbacks are only temporary. But so many times we only focus on the setbacks And we forget to celebrate the good. I think that's one of the harms that we do ourselves, that we should just celebrate every little success that we have, every little joy, really to mark it and celebrate it. Because they certainly do it enough when we have the setbacks, we feel like we messed up on something. And sometimes it's a long road. Our road with our church building, my goodness, you know, when we start having anniversaries of projects, you realize it's been going on for a long time. And as we plan for the elevator to make our building handicap accessible, and just as we get there, then we have the fire. And just as we start working to get through the new zoning and stuff, then a pandemic hits. But the interesting thing, the work is not always done on the outside. A thimble full of spiritual experience is worth a mountain full of spiritual knowledge. So each of us in our own ways, whatever that project is, whether we're thinking about our community building or whether we're thinking about a goal in our own life, the work that we do in prayer, those moments of quiet, those moments of awe, when we really connect with God and nature or another human being, that heartbeat connection, if you will, those are the expansive experiences that allow our soul, calls our soul forward to really create its full expression. Greg LeBoy, you may have read some of his books, a great author, and he said, motion is not necessarily progress any more than noise is necessarily music. Motion is not necessarily progress any more than noise is necessarily music. So the work that we're doing is not always visible. And that's why it is so important for us to stay persistent, to stay focused, to stay authentic to our core values, to the truth of our being. Our behavior is always a much better barometer of where we're at than our words. How do we act? Even on days that we're discouraged, can we still get up and take that one tiny step into the direction of our dreams? Even on days when it seems like we have made every mistake in the book, is there still something in us that will move us forward to do that next thing that is ours to do, to help us in the fulfillment of this great possibility? Putting feet to our prayers, putting feet to our prayers, feet to the possibility. I think whenever we have that feeling of success, that spirit moves us. But it's not just spirit moving us, it's that we move with the spirit to take action. It's not enough to have the idea. It's not enough just to speak the words. We need to take that action to do those things. Author Tom Hopkins says, the number of times I succeed is in direct proportion to the number of times I fail and keep on trying. The number of times I fail and keep on trying. Or Winston Churchill, he said, success is going from failure to failure without a loss of enthusiasm. Failure to failure without a loss of enthusiasm. And Emily Dickinson, wonderful poet, she wrote over 1,800 poems in her lifetime. But do you know that during her lifetime, less than 12 were published? But she kept writing. She kept writing with that same enthusiasm. One of the things she wrote, I just want to share this with you, she said, hope is a thing with feathers that perches on the soul and sings a tune without the words and never stops at all. And so too, I think it is with each of us as individuals and as a community. We have had a tremendously challenging year between the fire and the pandemic. Personally, we've had a very challenging year. Many of us have, we've all had to give up something. We have grief over a loss of something during this time of the pandemic. But there's still that hope that keeps on singing without any words. There's that greater feeling, that connection of spirit. This relationship with spirit is such a two-way street. There's a real estate agent that stopped by this farm country one day, and he saw the farmer there, and he goes, wow, this is the most beautiful place I've ever seen. God has done such a great work here with all this beauty. It's just wonderful. The farmer goes, yeah, you should have seen it when God was handling by itself. It's a partnership. It's a two-way street. It is God as principle working in and through us. And us as individuals working in a collaborative effort of supporting each other, connecting with each other, of being the love, expressing the love, feeling the love. The universe can only do for us what the universe can do through us. We are the instrument of God. We are the activity of spirit here on this earth. That is what the human experience is about. This is our journey. With God, all things are possible. Actually, I mean, think about it. That's what Jesus said. He didn't say, with God, a few things are possible. With God, many things are possible. Or with God, possibly some things are possible. No, he said, all things are possible. We go into that bigger sphere of knowledge, of power, of being. All things are possible. Sometimes our human script is a little limiting for it. It may look different than what way we had conceived it, but it's setting that energy in motion, moving that inertia into a movement of creation within our world, whether it be for the dreams of our heart, for the goals of our unity community, or for a greater peace and harmony in our entire world. So today I'm going to put out an invitation to you to become something, to become a possibilitarian. Now, this is not a political party. A possibilitarian is somebody who realizes that every day we are floating on a sea of infinite possibilities. Infinite. There are no problems, just solutions to be found. Like I said, Jesus didn't say a few or many. He said, with God, all things are possible, because we know that God is ultimately good all the time. We just need to be able to see that good, to have that persistent focus, to find the peace, the love, the harmony in all that is happening around us. So are you ready to become a possibilitarian? Dorothea Brandy said, all that is necessary to break the spell of inertia and frustration is this: act as if it were impossible to fail. We were doing Mary Morrissey's Prosperity Plus. That was one of her questions she would throw out to us. What would you do if you didn't think it was impossible? What would you do if you didn't think it was impossible? So as we step into that role of possibilitarian, it's not a difficult role. One, we need to be present. Yeah. And if we're present, we also need to be awake. It's not just enough to be there, but be aware, have our consciousness awake to what's going on. We need to speak words of truth. We don't degrade ourselves with our words, say we messed up or we are so less than. No, we speak the words of truth, that we are co-creators with the greatest power in the universe. We are co-creators of love and peace and harmony. We are co-creators. We are a possibilitarian. And then, filled with that fervor, we take that authentic action. As Winnie said, think it, dream it, believe it, do it. That is us as possibilitarians. That is us. Are you ready? I think you are. Oh, John Lewis had this great line I love about making good trouble. And I think any community that is making a difference in the world, whether it's a community of one or a community of thousands, I think every community needs angelic troublemakers. Troublemakers in the sense of you gotta shake things up to bring about positive change. There's a lot of shaking up going on these days for sure. But as we look at that mountain of possibilities, as we really live into becoming a possibilitarian, we need to make that commitment in our own heart to stay the course, to focus on the terrain as well as acknowledge the top of the mountain, to focus on that next step. Don't let the immensity of where we want to go keep us mired in one spot. Take that one step after another. And expect roadblocks along the way. It's okay, because every roadblock that you go into is going to help you grow. It's going to help you see a different perspective that maybe you would have missed if you were just going with blinders on. It's going to help you reevaluate and hold on to that goal deeper and more authentically than if you had had no struggles along the way. And finally, persistence. You know, this whole world filled with life is so persistent, no matter what the weather, no matter what the conditions. Life itself finds new ways of showing up, new ways of expressing himself. So it is with us on an individual level, that persistent of just keep moving through. There's a saying that it's when one door closes, another one opens, but there's hell in the hallway. But you don't stay in the hallway. You get out of there. You go and open that next door. So as we go on our mountain, looking at our mountains, that lofty goal ahead of us, I just bring up this other slide here. Become a possibilitarian. Yes, become a possibilitarian. Oh, just a review of what I just told you. Be present, stay awake, speak words of truth, and be an angelic troublemaker. Stay the course, focus more on the terrain than the top. Expect roadblocks along the way, and persist in all that you do. This week, take a conscious step in the right direction, and know that right means your right direction. And next week, as we come to the end of this series about our friend the turtle and Yoda, see if you can watch it with a friend. Maybe you both watch it on Zoom in separate places, or you find a safe place outside and watch it on your computer, but we're going to be talking about friends next week, so I hope you'll join us for that. Right now is a time that we're just going to celebrate our prosperity, because this world really is such a wonderfully prosperous place, abundant place in which we live. And I just need to start out with expressing such a deep gratitude for all the gifts that continue to come into Unity Spiritual Center to make this ministry possible, to allow us to be here for those that might need counseling or just someone to talk to, or they may need some inspirational support, prayer, whatever it is that we can do. And some people donate electronically on our website, some mail checks to our office, but it is so amazing to know how strong this community is to make sure that we are here for anybody who needs this kind of spiritual support. And so I know that in each of your lives, there have been blessings this week. There have been gifts that have come in that just make you smile, just make you feel those warm fuzzies. And this is such a great time just to take that spiritual moment to really feel the gratitude for the gifts that we have been given. To feel that deep appreciation for the phone call, the smile, just that serendipitous happening that happened in your life. As we take those beautiful memories, those thoughts internally, we bless them. Divine love through me blesses and multiplies all that I am, all that I have, all that I give, and all that I receive. I praise, give thanks, and am glad. We're going to close today's service with our favorite closing song, I Choose Love. Feel free to sing along.
Peace in my life is growing because I choose love. Love's always present, it's what I'm made of. I choose love. We are a part of each other. We are one tie that binds us, that can't be undone. I choose love. I choose love. Peace in my family is growing because I choose love. Let love choose love.
Well, our weekly services are offered in 3 parts: our opening, Think It, Dream It, Believe It, and Do It Today, Gift of the Mountain, which you've just heard, and Meditation of the Mountain. You can binge watch them all together or watch them separately as your schedule allows. If you're watching this Sunday morning, join us at 10:30 on Zoom for a fellowship time. Bring your own coffee. God bless.